Hey guys, it's Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast, joined this afternoon by professional handicapper Kevin Thomas. Welcome back to the show.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me. You're doing some great work. Keep up the good job. I mean, it's
Well,
awesome.
it's a pleasure having people like yourself on the show. How's the last couple weeks treated you since we've been on?
Uh, with capping and stuff, great. With my mom and her health, not so great. So you haven't
Oh,
been seeing a lot of me on Twitter
yep.
or putting out a video. Just doing what I can to, and to help her and stuff to transition from, everyday normal living to wheelchair living. So it's kind
Yeah,
of
well,
rough.
my heart goes out to you and your
Oh, thank
mom,
you.
Kevin. I'm
Thank
wishing
you.
her all the best with everything happening. July 4th, right around the corner. Any big plans for this weekend?
Like everyone knows, I coach girls travel softball. We have a huge tournament this weekend. We usually do a 4th of July, and it's great for the young ladies because it's a showcase. So we have probably about 30, 40 East Coast colleges that come watch them. So hopefully we get some interest in
Wow.
some of these girls that want to further their career in college. That's why I do it. I did it with my older daughter. It helps pay for half her college where she goes for pre-med. So it's awesome. Kids that put the work in deserve it.
Absolutely. She's pre-med. That is super exciting, Kevin. Congratulations.
That's why I wear $5 shirts.
We all sacrifice for our children. That is for
uh,
sure. But we can make some money betting sports and add to that college fund for sure. There's only 8 games on the board today, Kevin. Any that you're really loving here?
I'm really loving the last game of the night. It's my NL West total of the year, but a game that I actually just put a little bit on earlier is in the NL Central as the Cubs host the Reds.
Ooh, this is going to
Uh,
be an interesting one.
it is, and I'm a huge Pete Rose fan, even with Phillies, even as a Red, even as a manager. I think he should be in the Hall. But Reds fans got to be excited about some of these young guys they got coming
Yep.
in, and like today, we're going to see another young stud in Graham Ashcraft. I think he's like 4-1 on the season, and he has a huge advantage because the Cubs haven't got to see him yet. So it was a little hard to bet against him here in this spot, but I'm going to go ahead because Kyle Hendricks killed me last year. And I think if off his last performance, I think we're going to see a little more of last year's Kyle Hendricks. And he
Yep.
dominated at home and at home against the Reds. I think in 10 appearances, he was 4-0. So he didn't lose any. 4-0, I'll bet that any day of the week. But yeah, I'm looking at yesterday's game, another one of those young studs, Hunter Green, 100-mile fastball for the Reds. I mean, their future looks great, but he only lasted 4 innings, and that bullpen came in and were horrible to say. That I guess to be polite about, they were worse than horrible. And the Reds the Cubs scored 8 and won that game. But if they got to go to the bullpen earlier, you can expect more of the same here. I mean, you got
Yep.
some of these Cubs guys crushing the ball, like Contreras. I think he has like 7 hits and 13 at bats and 5 or 6 RBIs just in 3 games. The guys just light it up. And then when you got a pitch, Ian Happ and him, I mean, they got some hitters on that team. I'm not going to say they're anything great because if you look at the NL Central, it's the Cubs and Reds battling for last place, and it's pretty tight.
Mhm.
But I would definitely lean on the Cubs. I mean, I actually did. I got it at 125. I saw it at 130, which I love when I see a line move like that. But earlier, the public was a little on the Reds, and then it shifted. So it kind of worries me a little bit. But when I see a plus go to like plus 105 the opposite way, it kind of makes me feel good about my pick. I just don't think, I think Ashcraft is going to be a great future piece
Yep.
for the Reds. I just don't think it happens today.
Yeah, hard to happen today, especially facing up against Kyle Hendricks here. We have a total that has climbed from 9.5 to 10. Do you think it's justified? You were saying you're expecting them to hit nicely off of Ashcraft here. Do you think we get over this number of 10?
I'll be honest, I didn't get to look at the weather in Wrigley, but if
Okay.
the wind's blowing out, that number is going to jump like that in a heartbeat. I mean, that's one of those fields that if the wind's blowing out and the ball's hit up, it goes out. And you got to look at the success that Joey Votto has had against Kyle Hendricks over his career, and you can't really pitch around him because the Reds do have some hitters in that lineup. So
Yeah.
maybe a 6-5 game. Maybe that's what the odds makers are hoping because they want the public on that under. So I would lean on the over but I would have to look at the weather report at the Wrigley Field before I even made that bet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great day at the ballpark. Kevin, anything else that you're well, you've got premium picks out. So where can people get all of these premium picks that you have?
Like always, you can find me over at Sports Memo, Playbook Sports, Winning Cappers, and Vegas Top Dogs. And make sure to look for Playbook Sports. They put out a nice magazine. All the cappers got to be featured in it this year. I guess every year. It's the first year I'm on the site, but I used to follow Mark Lawrence and his college football report and stuff. So it's a lot of interesting information and some tips on some betting and some futures and stuff in that book too. So I would look forward to that, or find it. Look up Playbook Sports or even Mark Lawrence and just look for that magazine.
Yeah, you guys make sure you check that out. Any promotions that are running for your picks right now, Kevin, that you want people to know about?
Oh yeah, over at Sports Memo, they got an early bird special NFL package. It's super cheap. I think it's like 700 for the whole season. You get
Wow.
NFL and college, but they're also running a preseason football. And I know a lot of cappers shy away from preseason football, but I think there's tons of great investments in preseason, especially if you take advantage of new coaches that want to showcase their skills and get their guys involved more, against like older coaches that could give a shit about preseason and rest everybody and not really care. So you could take advantage of all that and build the bank up for a great NFL season. I think last year I finished 58% for the season, and I'm shooting for that again. I mean, if I can go above that, that's awesome. But just getting there, I'm usually a 54, 55, which I'm happy with that. But 58 was really good last year, so hopefully.
Yeah, you dominated in the NFL last year. I can't wait to see what you do this year, Kevin. Keep up the fantastic work. You're just crushing it with what you are doing. Thank you so much for joining me on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. If people are looking for you on socials, where can they find you, Kevin?
Oh, right there, Kevin Thomas 04. It's my Twitter. And if you have any questions about fantasy, I know fantasy football guys are gonna be start drafting in the next month. Any questions or anything, reach out to me. I've been doing it for several years and I've had, pretty good success. So I follow, as a capper, you're following the injury reports, you're following the trades, you're following what offensive line. I mean, you're following these guys' girlfriends on social media just to get an edge,
Have to.
because it's bragging rights. Because I don't want to
Yep.
get a tattoo that says fantasy loser never. So
Oh, okay. What is the worst? Okay, fantasy league. What's the worst thing you've heard that the loser has to do? Is it the tattoo or what is it?
I think the tattoo, because it's permanent, but for me, I made a bet as a Packer fan, and I had to wear a Brian Urlacher pretty much jersey and everything
Oh,
out
that's bad.
all day, and it crushed me. And at the end of it, I actually took it off and I wiped myself with it while I took pictures and then sent it back to the guy, because I hate Brian Urlacher. I hate the Bears. But it was horrible. But I think fantasy, I think a lot of them is you got to come dressed as a dress, in a dress as a woman and
No.
stuff the next following year. But I think the tattoo, because you ain't getting rid of that. That's permanent.
You're not getting rid of that. The worst I've ever heard is the tattoo and the belly button piercing
Oh,
and the tank top out to the bar after it's all done. So for the night. And I was just like, you guys take this really far. It's crazy, that's for sure. Yeah, tattoo has to be the worst. But
well,
Kevin, thank you.
our mutual friend shows up every year in a king's gown with a crown, because he's won it like 4 years, and he actually had a belt made. I think he paid like $800 for this belt with all the winners' names engraved on it. I mean, he's beyond ridiculous, but it's cool, that he has
Yeah.
that much passion for it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I have another friend like that as well that has a belt and then a beautiful ring that gets passed around every single year. So the buy-in to their pool is like, I think it's $5,000. So it's quite the buy-in for that one. Not one that I'm interested in because
No.
a little rich for my blood for playing fantasy football. But Kevin, pleasure as always to have you on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And have a nice 4th of July.
You too. Best of luck in all of your bets, Kevin. And all the best to your mom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.